What's going on, you guys? I'm back on here to talk about the end of a disappointing 2019 season for the New York Giants. Well, I think we all pretty much saw this coming. Uh, Based on my predictions at the beginning of the season, I had this team going 5-11, and I was one game off of that total. So they actually lost one more game than I thought they were going to. So, I mean, I saw it coming. If you didn't see it coming, shame on you. So, I don't really know what else to say about that. But it was definitely a disappointing year. I mean, just the team all around played poorly. Offensively, I mean, we saw some good things out of Daniel Jones. Defensively, I mean, the secondary struggled. No pass rush. We played the run pretty well. I mean, we should play the run pretty well considering how much capital Dave Gettleman has put into this defensive line and how he just consistently drafts defensive tackles all the time, which is something that I'm worried about in the future when it comes to him being our GM. But, I mean, that's a different topic in this video. To talk about this game today, I mean, we lost to a team that it basically had a bunch of practice squad players out there besides Miles Sanders and Dallas Goedert. I mean, a lot of these other guys, I don't even know who the hell they are. Boston Scott, I mean, he's the little giant killer. He killed us again. He didn't do anything in the other games. That first Giants game that he played us, that he was in, where he killed us at the end, from that point to this game, he had done nothing. Really nothing. And he comes in after Miles Sanders gets hurt in this game today, and he lights us up for how many touchdowns? 3? He had 19 carries for 54 yards, and then he ate us up through the air for 84 yards on 4 receptions. Boston Scott. Little 5'8" Boston Scott. If we can't play well against players like that, how are we supposed to win games? How are we supposed to win games? We have players like Boston Scott eating this defense up. There's a practice squad guy. That dude probably shouldn't even be on the field. Yeah, he's trying to play that whole Darren Sproles role, but he's nowhere near close to what Darren Sproles ever was in his life. It just seems he shows up every time he plays the Giants. But, I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Right now I've got the Seattle San Francisco game on. I mean, San Francisco, that's who we used to look like back when we had a pass rush. You know, back before we switched over to the 3-4 defense and moved away from the 4-3 and started, starting these tweeners on the outside instead of playing guys that put their hands in the dirt and rush the freaking quarterback. Everybody, and I make a comment like that, and people are going to say, oh, well, the team had success in the 80s and playing the 3-4, blah, 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 blah. That's great and all, dude. This is almost 2020. I don't like the 3-4 defense. I've never liked the 3-4 defense. Why would you want to play 3 players on your line? I'm sorry about that. I have never liked the 3-4 defense. Why would you want to have 3 down defensive linemen as opposed to 4? Yeah, that's less players for the opposition to run through. Why? Why would you do that? I want 4 guys on the line. I want 2 on the outside, and I want some beef in the middle. That's the way this defense needs to be played. Sorry, guys. I've got a little bit of a cold. Somewhat of a head cold. But, yeah, I mean, it was just a disappointing game all around. Daniel Jones, he didn't play very well. He played decent. But, I mean, he had 2 fumbles again. I'm not going to knock the kid for the fumbles. It is what it is. His play throughout the season, I'm pretty happy with it. I can't really complain about what he did. He's a rookie. It sucks he turned the ball over as much as he did. But I thought he played pretty well. What do you have, like 25 touchdowns on the year, 23 passing, 2 running. He actually had 24 because he threw a touchdown pass today. So, I don't know if he eclipsed 3,000 yards. I know he was close. He threw for, I think, like 302 today. That may have put him over the 3,000 yard mark, or he was just shy of it. So, yeah, I was at the game last week against the Skins, and that was an awesome game to watch. It was good to see him win. It was good to see Daniel Jones play that well. It was good to see Saquon Barkley play that well. But at the same time, it was against a Redskins defense who really can't stop anybody, and you saw that again today against the Dallas Cowboys. And a beat-up Dak Prescott lit them up for God knows how many yards. I know Michael Gallup had like 3 touchdowns against them. But all around, as far as the coaching goes, I don't see any reason why any of these guys should be back. Pat Shurmur, yeah, I think he's done a pretty good job with, Daniel Jones and his development, this, that, and the other. But as a head coach, he's lacking in other areas where a head coach should not be lacking. Betcher, dude, you did nothing right the entire year. There's no reason for you to still be our defensive coordinator. You were horrible. Nothing you did the entire season worked. Now you could say you probably don't have the talent to work with to make any of your defensive scheme work. You can say that all day long, but you made nothing work with the pieces that you had. So you need to go kick rocks somewhere. And I don't like your chances of getting another coaching job somewhere with what you displayed out there on the field this year. You suck. You're terrible, Betcher. Back to Shurmur. Yeah, time management, all kinds of different issues. Yeah, he's not the guy that's cut out for a head coaching job, especially not for the New York Giants. So yeah, those 2 need to be gone. And honestly, I do not like the guy, Dave Gettleman. I think he is a horrible GM. People can sit here and say, oh, he made some good moves. He's brought in some good draft picks. You can say he's had 2 decent drafts the past 2 seasons. Last year's players that he brought in, they kind of tailed off this year, so whatever. And, he drafted Daniel Jones, and he brought in Darius Slayton. His corners that he brought in, they really didn't amount to much. Julian Love, he started playing towards the end of the year. DeAndre Baker struggled in zone coverage, just looks like he has no idea what the hell he's doing. Man situations, he seems like he's a pretty good player, just like he did in college. But, overall, I'm not very impressed with what Dave Gettleman is bringing to the table. He brought in Zeitler. Yeah, he brought in Soldier. And you could say, yeah, he had to. He didn't have any other options available. But, those 2 guys, Zeitler didn't even improve the line, really. Zeitler didn't do much. Jabril Peppers ended up getting hurt. What has Gettleman done that's been so great for him to warrant another year as a GM for this team? Nothing. Big Kyle Juszczyk with the catch. So yeah, Gettleman, I can't stand the guy. I really think he needs to go. I don't think the players want to play for Gettleman. I don't think he has a very good reputation across the board in the NFL, which is definitely going to hurt us when it comes to free agents. regardless of how much money we have to spend. And even if we attract free agents here, I think it's going to be, because of the fact he's our GM, we're going to have to overpay for these free agents. Because these players, they're not going to want to come here. They're going to see the dysfunction that's going on with this team, see who's running the show, and they're going to be like, no, I'll go play somewhere else with less of a headache. Oh my God. And deal with less of a headache. You know, Gettleman has a reputation of treating his players bad, not re-signing players. So, I mean, why would you want to come play here? I mean, he's just a snake in the grass. That's all he is, and that's what I have continued to say about him ever since we hired him. And where has he been this whole entire season? Most of the New York media, you can't even find this guy. Like, they've been trying to track him down to talk to him. He won't come out to even talk to anybody. Mike Francesa has been ripping him a new asshole all year long, and he won't even show his face. Like, he is a coward, snake in the grass, POS. I can't stand the guy. And I hate that he represents this organization. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. In my opinion, I think they need to go hire Louis Riddick before somebody else hires him. And bring him in and let him run the show. Let him bring in a head coach. I like Rivera. I mean, this guy Rule. I don't know what to think about him. I'm not big on college coaches coming to the NFL and coaching for the first time, especially not a franchise like the New York Giants. I just don't like where that could head. If I had to pick anybody out of everybody that's available, Rivera would be the guy that I would want. But he's got an interview with Washington on Monday, tomorrow. So he'll probably get picked off pretty quick. He's not going to be out there very long. The team is just a mess right now, man. They got to get it fixed on the defensive side of the ball. What they're going to do with their first pick in the draft, pick number 4, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get Chase Young because of the win in Washington. And let me address that. All these people that were talking about, oh, you're a fake fan, this, that, and the other, because you want the New York Giants to lose. Like, dude, get the hell out of here. You are not a fake fan if you are looking towards the future of this franchise. The future of this team and wanting them to have the best situation play out in front of them. You are not a fake fan because of that. Don't let anybody tell you any different. You know, you're just thinking smart. You're thinking ahead. You're not living in the now like these other people are. That's great. Oh, they won. They beat the Redskins. Whoop-de-doo. Are we going to remember that they beat the Redskins 2 to 3 years from now? Fuck no, we're not. We're not going to give a damn. The only reason we're going to look back on that game is because that was the best game of Daniel Jones' his rookie season. He threw 5 touchdowns, threw for 350 yards. That's the only reason we're going to look back on that game. Other than that, it's meaningless. Doesn't help us out at all. It hurt us more than anything. Now, most likely, we're going to have to deal with Chase Young and Montez Sweat on the freaking Redskins. Both of those guys coming off the edge for the Washington Redskins against our sorry-ass offensive line. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Not that the Redskins have much else, but those are 2 pretty good defensive ends to build around. And Montez Sweat has actually he's been playing pretty well towards the end of the season. So to line up a guy like Chase Young on the other side of him, that could be a devastating combo. As far as what we should do with that first pick, I mean, that kid from Georgia, I mean, going back to what I just said about Chase Young playing for the Redskins, you know, if that kid from Georgia is available at left tackle, maybe we draft him. I don't know. But we'll see what happens between now and draft time. and see who gets rumored to be drafted by us. I don't really know what else to say about the season. It was just more of the same. Nothing really changed. Players got injured. Evan Ingram couldn't stay on the field. I addressed that in my video before the season started. I said this team could be a lot better if he does stay on the field, but he did not. I'm not surprised by that at all. But we did have a tight end that stepped up towards the end. His name is Caden Smith. Drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, and he was just released off of their team because they basically didn't have enough room for him. You know, that team just possesses too much talent, so they had to cut him. You know, that was one good move by Gettleman. I'll say that for him. He seems like he's working out pretty well right now. So maybe we have a good pass catching tight end that can actually block also. As far as trading Evan Ingram, I don't know what you're going to get for the guy. I mean, what are NFL teams going to trade for Evan Ingram, a guy that can't even stay on the field? I mean, what do you want to put up for a guy like that? I mean, yeah, if he was able to stay healthy and be productive out there on the field, I mean, you could probably get something fairly decent for Evan Ingram, but he hasn't shown the ability to stay on the field to anybody. So I wouldn't bank on us getting anything for Evan Ingram. And I've also heard talk about us possibly trading some of these defensive tackles we have. What are we going to get for the defensive tackles we have? Defensive tackles are like a dime a dozen in this league. And we have a GM who collects them like he's a fucking hoarder. And he's going to probably bring in even more in this year's draft. And that's why I just want him to go, man. This guy, he's freaking terrible. I cannot stand Dave Gettleman. He is just a piece of trash, man. Ugh. It's just this team hiring from the inside and just not ever willing to expand and bring in somebody else. They just want to keep everything in-house, and that's this team's problem. As far as Eli Manning goes, I'm glad he's gone. I don't have to hear his name anymore. This franchise can move on from him, and we don't have to hear his name in the press anymore. What does Eli think about this? What does Eli think about that? Blah, 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 blah. We should get Eli in there for this game. We should do this for Eli. No, that's all done and over with. That ship has sailed, thank God. Now we can move on with this team, get Daniel Jones in there, get him the playing time he needs, and hopefully he excels and becomes a good quarterback for this team. No more talk about Eli Manning. Thank God. So, I mean, that's pretty much the end of the video. Just a disappointing year. I don't know what else to say about it. Hopefully things improve in the future. We'll see what kind of changes are made. I'm sure something's going to happen by tomorrow. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Hopefully it's Shurmur and Gettleman out the door, but I got a feeling it's just going to be Shurmur from what I hear so far. So that's pretty much it for my video. Let's hope things get better in the off season, and we have more to look forward to in 2020, because I'm ready to see this team start winning some ball games and be competitive. So that's pretty much it. Signing out, another disappointed Giants fan. Let's see what happens next year. We'll try to get out there and get them in 2020. All right, you guys take it easy. I might put out some more content in the off season. We'll see what happens. If anything breaks, maybe I'll put out a video here and there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, you guys take it easy. Be safe. And, talk to you later. See ya.